Okay, today is Sunday. I've just I just blew through a 10K challenge. I was at I was up 2%, and I just I just went nuts. And I just blew that. And then I spent another $36 getting to 5K, and I blew that too. So then I blew through like three different prop firm challenge free trials, and it's amazing to me. So then I looked at it and I go, it means nothing. It means nothing because what I was doing is essentially if I max out either way, it's gonna go pass or fail. It's gonna go to one side to the other side and pass or fail. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so it's meaningless. There's no meaning behind these. There's no meaning behind these trades that I made today. Okay, there's no meaning behind the trade that I was making. Okay, no meaning at all. There's no meaning. There's no meaning in the trade that I made today because the trade could have gone either way. Okay, but I did it anyway, and then I paid for it. I paid a price for trading reckless. I would call that trading recklessly. Okay, and I'm still doing it like 5.5 years down the road. And why is that? Why did I do that? Why did I just waste what is that? $102 today. So that's 66 plus 36. That's $102. I wasted $102 today, including the $66 that I paid 2 weeks ago. Okay, a little over 2 weeks ago, and I tossed away another $36, and I just threw it away. So then on Funded Next and the FTMO, I was up like on a 10K account, I was up $2,000, which in a free trial. So that's essentially 20%. I made 20% on that account. So I just kept going, and then uh, what happened was I was in gold and I maxed out and it went the other way and I lost out. Okay, okay, so I lost that challenge, and immediately I started another one, and then I maxed out on gold, and then it passed. Okay, so it passed. So now this is something that I would actually I did do this. I did do this on the challenge. Okay, but I don't think I would do that on a funded account. Okay, probably not. All right, I'd be very frightened about what's going to happen because I'm not using my setup. And so what I did was I'm looking at a ballpark figure of the entry point and started entering into it, not even considering the possibility of the risk associated with the mask risk that I had. So when I'm leveraged up to the hilt and I'm not even considering the risk, what it would do is the price in many of the instances, if I had timed it correctly, I would I would be correct because it would be I say to myself, okay, so it's range bound, and so as long as I'm in here, and as long as it's moving in this direction, the way that I anticipate it to be, then the trade is going to be good. But if it starts to move in the other direction, it's going to cause two things. It's going to be a severe drawdown or an immediate loss. Okay, and so then I'm thinking to myself, so it doesn't mean anything. Okay, it's not meaningful. It's not a meaningful type of trading, except that I wasted my time. Okay, I didn't waste the people who I'm using the services because they're catering to my need to spend on there like a video game where I don't get anything. Okay, and so they're getting something, but I'm not getting anything. So it's very similar to going to a criminal proceeding where think about this. Okay, I am the accused. I am the accused, and I'm paying for this attorney, and I'm paying for this attorney. Now the state is getting paid by the taxpayers. The judge is getting paid by the taxpayers. The jurors are getting paid by other people. The people who are checking people in are getting paid. The only person who's not getting paid for entering into that premises to be held in court is me. The only person. And trading is very, very similar to that way. Trading is very, very similar. I am the only one who's paying. Everybody else gets paid to be there. Their time is paid. I am the only one who's not getting paid. I'm the one who's paying. They're not. See, I'm losing my time. I'm spending my time, my wage, to enter into this because I'm the accused. Because I have to prove that I'm innocent. The court says you are innocent until you're proven guilty. No, that's flipped around. That's flipped around. They accuse you and you're guilty immediately, but you have to prove that you're innocent. If you can't prove that you're innocent, you're guilty. You're because the clock ticks. Okay? The clock ticks. The moment that you are accused, you are convicted. Until you prove that you're innocent, you're still convicted. And then once you're convicted, then you're convicted. But before then, you're still convicted, and so you have to prove otherwise. That's how the legal system works, and so that's how this thing works. I've noticed, and so I'm making everybody happy here. I'm not, and I can't even. I'm not even seeing it. This trading, okay, this trading is making everyone else happy except me. I've noticed this. I've noticed this. I'm using my resources to try to get something. Of course, the benefit is tremendous once I get to that point. But right now, the only person who's paying for this is me. The only person, and the only person who's paying for this is me. And then I'm self-sabotaging myself because I can't tell the difference between a legitimate trade and a non-legitimate trade. Okay, right now, I can see. I've done this before. I've done this for 5.5 years, and I'm finally getting to the target of this situation. Okay, the target, see, it's very difficult to self-diagnose psychological issues. Okay, that's why there's a lot of psychiatrists who make a lot of money. They make a lot of money because they want to take their time. They don't want to fix you right away. Okay, I'm just saying this. I don't know how they do it, but here's what I would do. Okay, if I was a devilish psychiatrist, here's what I'd do. I would say, okay, the problem that this person is suffering is probably a $100,000 fix, and I'm going to drag it out as long as possible because I need to afford that 911. Okay, the Porsche 911. I need to afford it, so I'm going to drag it out as long as possible. If I was a lawyer and I have this person who is convicted of murder, and this person has money, I'm gonna make sure I take every penny that he has. Why? Because it is that big and it is worth that much. Okay, that's how it works. That's how the world works. Okay. So now going back to the psychiatry. Okay, so if I know a certain situation takes certain amount of effort to get the person fixed, I'm going to milk it as long as possible, right? But for me, in this particular situation, what I'm doing is I'm milking myself. And I'm literally milking myself into poverty right now, okay? Because I can't tell the difference between a good trade and a bad trade, okay? I cannot tell the difference between a good trade and a bad trade. That's the problem. So what I've noticed, even if I make a bad trade, it works. That's the problem. It works sometimes. And if I max it out, it'll work. See, I just proved it out. Look at this. Look at that. Right there, right? See that? Look at that. Can you see that? Right there. Okay? Right there. That's right there. That says 533. Which means on a free trial, if I get 5% of 10K, which is $500, I passed. I passed despite the fact that I was trading. Essentially, I said to myself, okay, so this is in a range, and I haven't bottled up the risk sufficiently enough to say, okay, so if it goes the other way, it could be detrimental. And so what I did was I said, okay, it's in a range and I'll start piling in here. But if it goes the other way, it goes the other way. It can go the other way. It can go the other way, okay? So what I need to do is be able to differentiate between a good trade and a bad trade, okay? So right now, what I did was not sticking to the rule that I've set, okay? So that's why when you get into a tilt mode, when you get into a tilt mode, you just lose all sense of concept of what the right trade is and what the bad trade is. Okay, and you just keep trading because the market will reward you even though you're making the wrong trade. Okay, and so you can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference because you haven't been confirmed and reaffirmed multiple times and and with the back testing, and that back testing needs the support that the trade is moving in the right direction. Until you do that, what I have proven to myself today by spending $102 on this challenge is this, okay? There's a right trade and the wrong trade, okay? I have to take the right trade. If I don't take the right trade, I'm just wasting my time. I'm not wasting everybody else's time. I'm just wasting my time, my incredibly valuable time, okay? So this is like a 5.5 years of experience. I've experienced this for the past 5.5 years. Now it's finally. Sure, I could have some fun. It's like a video game, right? I could just go, hey, I could risk here, all that stuff. But I could do that with a video game. Okay, I can do that with a video game with no cost whatsoever, except for my time. 5.5 years spent doing something, okay, where I could have fixed it immediately. And that fix is to distinguish between a good trade and a bad trade, right? And the good trade has a specific backtesting data that says, okay, when certain specific things occur, then I take the trade, okay? If it doesn't happen that way, then I don't take the trade. That's what I need to do, all right? Amazing. So what I noticed is this. Okay, so I can pass. I can pass using my strategy. I can pass without using my strategy because the market will reward you even if your strategy is not correct. Okay, because if you're sized up right and you hold it, and if you're lucky enough that okay, when you're lucky, it gets there. Okay, but if you're not lucky, so the distinction between the full throttle, the reason why even in so now I'm looking at this. So even in a Formula One race, you don't do full throttle all the time. Okay, so when you're going right towards the corner, okay, when you see a corner, you want to start to brake, and then you want to go full throttle. You want to full throttle as you exit that curve. Okay, so when you enter into the curve, you want to start to brake, and then so that means essentially what I'm doing. This is very okay. So I lost about $102, but I'm incredibly excited about this particular situation. Okay, this is incredibly exciting because I am clearly distinguishing between a good trade and a bad trade. The good trade takes time. The good trade takes time. It is tedious. It's hard to do. But what I've noticed is that if I trade like a maniac, I could do it anytime, and it's like freeing and it's free spirit. It seems to be like it seems to be like just like it seems to see. I even passed the next test, funded next. I passed that too. Okay, just trading that way. So essentially, so so there's it's like I suppose it's like going full throttle. It's like there's no speed limit. When you go when I'm trading, when I'm placing the trade on, it's like a freeing kind of a situation that supports that psychological need to just put the pedal to the metal, right? That's amazing. That is truly just amazing. So essentially, so essentially, so what I've noticed today is it feels so good. It feels so good. It's like it it is it essentially is a freeing kind of a situation to just put the risk on, just let it go. But what happens is that when I am trading, when I'm trading with the right setup, it is suffocating. It's like it seems to be like so there seems to be a difference between there's okay so essentially what's happening is that between the between the what's happening is that between of the formalities of routine and rule and law and engagement and the proper etiquette. Okay, so there's a proper etiquette which requires all the things to be aligned in order for me to do something. Okay, but there is this freeing part about so it's like driving on a road versus driving on off road. Okay, driving off road, I could go anywhere. Okay, I could go this way, that way, or this way or that way. Okay, it's freeing. It feels good. But to properly trade, in order to trade properly, I have to stick to the bylaws. I have to observe the speed limit. I have to observe the street lights. I have to absorb the stop sign. I have to observe all these things. Okay, see, look, I passed again. Okay, essentially what I'm doing is essentially what so essentially I'm now up 10% here just by merely just so there's a couple ways of trading. One of them is like free spirited trading, which is detrimental to the account. And it can if something happens that I'm not considering properly, if I don't have all the pieces together into my trading, then I could lose. But if I am corralled into thinking, so it seems to be like free spirited versus what's the opposite of free spirit? Okay, what is the spirit of opposite? What is the opposite of free spirit? Okay, so so I have to conform. Okay, rigid conformity. Okay, okay, rigid conformity is trading. So there's a need to go so there's a free spirited kind of there's a free spirited kind of thinking that applies, and there's also a rigid conformity kind of a thinking that occurs, right? And so what happens is when I'm when essentially when I'm not constrained by the cost of these challenges or the cost of the of trading, then what I can do is uh, it's a free spirited kind of trading because it doesn't cost me anything except for time because I don't even know it at that time that it's costing me time. And so what I do is I just go off road, okay? And being in a rigid conformity is suffocating, right? Rigid conformity is suffocating, and if I keep doing that for a long time, that becomes a suffocating kind of a situation, right? So 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 sticking to that rigid conformity, okay? Rigid conformity is costly. It costs. It's an expense, okay? but the benefit and the residual benefit of sticking with the rigid conformity is fitting in to the market. But if I'm free spirited and trade it willy nilly, it essentially will be a costly kind of situation, right? It's costly, right? So if I look here, look at that. So that's like right there. That's 10%, right? By just trading like a maniac, but you can't trade like a maniac, and that's what I did, okay? That's 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 like that's the characterization of being on tilt, okay? That's tilt. It just so if I look at it, so what tilt is doing something without constraints of rigid conformity, okay? That's what tilt is. Tilt is trading without rigid conformity, okay? And usually what happens is that you just lose every penny you have, okay? So what I have to be aware of and become comfortable with is doing something. So it's like so ah so so essentially trading is okay. So why are there police officers out there, right? Why are there police officers? Police officers are out there to enforce the law, okay? The police officers are out there to enforce the law, to make people do things legally, okay? That's why they're there. For example, there is a speed limit at a particular section of the street, and the police officer is there to make sure that people uh, drive under that speed limit. Okay, that's why they're there. Okay, that's how they enforce it, right? So if there's a stop sign, then the police officer is there to make sure that people use that stop sign by stopping. Okay, if the intersection is red, then you have to stop because that's the law, and that's what the police officers do. But if you are a free spirited thinker and if you're trying to do something that is above and beyond what the law is and the restrictions are, then things can happen. Okay? Things can happen, which means that either it'll be a very costly additional expense on top of the regular maintenance of your car, or by means of fees and criminal charges, or incarceration, right? Those are the things that must be adhered to. Those are the consequences of exceeding the law, okay? So in trading, what I have to be aware of is this, okay? So I have formulated a couple of things, a couple of trading principles that I have picked up for the past 5.5 years, which works, okay? It is only when I deviate from that. It is only when I deviate from this, which I figured this out, okay? It sets me back. And it sets me back, not just today, but it sets me back for tomorrow, the next day, and next day, until I have my brain balanced back, okay? This is the Asian market, okay? I started at about 6 o'clock. Within 2.5 hours, I experienced all this. Because I can experience this because when I size up, anything can happen within that short amount of time. Okay, that's what happens. That's what trading is. Okay, and so so I have to be so. What do I have to learn from this experience? What do I have to what do I need to get out of this experience? I need to get something out of the experience because it cost me $102 and 2 weeks. Okay, and then for the next 2 weeks, I am unable to do anything here. Okay, I am unable to do anything except for maybe trade the demos here. Okay, so now I have to be able to do something about this particular situation. Okay, what? So what did I learn from this? What did I learn from this? I have to stick to my strategy. Okay, I have to conform. Okay, rigid conformity. Rigid conformity has added benefits. Okay, Rigid conformity has added benefits, okay? Rigid conformity is going to get me there. If I'm on a marathon, if I am in a marathon and I sprint for the first 10 miles and I get exhausted and my legs are cramping up, there's no way to finish the race. There's no way to finish the race. But if I pace myself and I trade, if I am, see, this is after like learning this and this and this, and I'm finally trying to, I'm like finally understanding what I'm doing after spending. It's a lot of money spending $102. Okay, it's a lot of money. It's a very very expensive kind of thing, right? So I have to learn from that. Okay, so learning from that, I have to learn from this. I have to learn from this experience. Okay, because look, the week has started and I already blew two paid challenges. Okay, and that is unacceptable. That is truly an unacceptable situation, and I need to fix this situation immediately. Okay, I need to fix this immediately. And how do I fix this immediately? I have to stick to my trading strategy, which has been successful for me. And I cannot be trading like max risk, because max risk means nothing, because it can go either way. Even if my strategy is correct, it could go the other way. And so trading max, sure, in demo I can do whatever I want because I'm not, I am not prone. I'm not feeling the effects when it moves slightly, the emotions and the cost associated with it, because I know precisely the next challenge that I take is free. It doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't cost me much time either. And so the cost is very little. And so what I need to do to make sure, I have to stick with my strategy here. It's a very, very costly kind of thing. It's a very, very costly situation. It's a very, very costly situation. Very, very costly situation. Okay? Yeah. Wow. So what are you going to do for the next 2 weeks before you get paid next? Then you can afford it. But now you've ah boy, I was on the 10K. I was at 7%. And then I had this see what I was trying to do. What I was trying to do is like with a single trade pass. That was my problem. Okay? And it just what I need to be so this lesson I need to know. I have to know this lesson. Okay, I have to be very very aware of this lesson. Okay? So there's a statement called Rome was not built in a single day. Is that what it is? Rome wasn't built in a single day. Okay, it's true. Rome wasn't built in a single day. And I have to be aware that I cannot. So what I need to do is I have to count. So so my thinking is incorrect right now. My thinking is incorrect. Okay, my thinking is that I have to make. See, my thinking is wrong. Okay, my thinking is wrong. What I have to do is this. Okay, what I have to do is this. So when I start a challenge, my thinking is that I'm gonna pass it in a single trade. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, because I have to achieve 8%. Trying to achieve 8% in a single trade is wrong. Then okay, so then how should I think about it? Okay, so I need to think of it. I need to think of okay, so here's what I need to do now. I need to think of each trade as a successful trade. Okay? I have to think of each trade as a successful trade and not a percentage. Okay? This is very, very critical. This is critical. This is what's causing me this problem here. Because my thinking is wrong. My thinking is that each trade has to get 8%. That's the thinking that I have. But there are variables that I cannot control. There are variables that I cannot control. Okay? So what I have to do is each trade that I make, I have to count it as its own success. And I go from one success to another success. That's why there's an old proverb about, okay, so do you know how to walk? Okay, do you know how to walk? Okay, so people walk, but do you really know how to walk? Well, you walk by placing one foot in front of the other. Okay, so which foot do you put first, and which put right? And then when you put your foot, okay, so how do you put the second foot? Okay, so putting your second foot is by moving your body, okay, leaning forward so that your body feels like it's gonna fall, okay, but you balance it with your if you started with your left feet. So you have to think of it that way. You can't be saying that, okay, I'm gonna take this step and I'm gonna be there. I cannot do that. Okay? So that's what I have been doing for the past 5.5 years. But I never thought about it. But it cost me $102, $36 just today within a matter of a few minutes, and I just lost it. Okay? It happens. It happens. Okay? I had to slap my forehead for that one. I slapped my forehead. I'm thinking, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did I do that? Because I was trying to make 8% in a single trade instead of making the right trade. That was my problem. That's been my mistake. That's been my mistake for the past 5.5 years. I have to make the right trades. Why do I have to make the right trade? Because if I put a risk on, the market decides how much it's going to move. I don't have control over how the market moves. Market will go up and down. It's going to move this much or that much or this much. The market decides. And so my goal is to make the right trade, my goal is to make the right trade, not to make that 8%. Okay? So every day for a little while, I've been trying to make like a 1.5% each day. Okay? My thinking, that's not a bad idea. Okay? That's a good goal. But what I need to be aware is that it doesn't happen on a single trade. It happens with multiple trades. It can happen with a single trade, but it happens with multiple trades in most of the cases. Because what I need to do is I have to make the right trade. The right trade requires me to consider the risk that's involved. Because even if I'm down considerably, as long as I'm making the right trades, I'm going to immediately get that back. Unless I get that immediately back, then I cannot make the right trade. Okay? So the idea, have I made a video on that? I did. 2023. That was 3 years ago. I made this video 3 years ago. I made this video 3 years ago. Make the right trade. I made this video 3 years ago and I still didn't get it. Okay? I still did not get that because the allure of immediate gratification, the immediate allure of immediate gratification is so powerful. Okay? That I'm willing to like toss away all logic and reason. Okay? All logic and reason to do something that is totally meaningless. Even if I get it, I'm doing it wrong. I have to do it right. I have to achieve something doing the right way. That's the right way. I have to achieve I have to achieve something the right way. Okay? I have to achieve something the right way. Otherwise, it will be meaningless. I'm just wasting my time. Because even if I achieve something doing the wrong way, it is reinforcing a countermeasure of something that I need to do in order to have this long-term career as a trader. Okay? That's what I need to do. You see that? Do you see that? I hope you got it. Because it's going to be a long 2 weeks. And 2 weeks of trading, 2 weeks making the right trade is going to be very, very grueling. Okay, it's gonna be very, very grueling. It's going to take a lot of time. Okay, it's going to take it's going to take a lot of time for you. But what you have to learn from this is that I have to make the right trades. And I said it again, I have to make the right trade. Those what I did was not the right trade because obviously I have to have this. I have to preserve the survivability of my trading. Okay, I have to do that. It means that a single trade cannot take away my account, but it did. Okay, it took away my money, hard-earned money. It took it away from me. That's not the right way to trade. That's not it. Okay, that's not. See, I thought I was like I thought I was. See, I was like picking a little. See, wow, my mind was for the past. See, what success does to me is this. Okay, what success does to me is this. Okay, I was counting my money. I was counting the birds in the bush. Okay, so so uh, so Warren Buffett asked this question: is a bird in your hand better than two birds in the bush? Okay, he may have a totally different perspective of what that is, but for me, one bird is better than two birds in the bush. Okay, because if I think about those two birds in the bush, it's gonna cause my brain to go nuts. Okay, I was like counting. I was like, wow, I'm being completely honest. I have to be very, very honest. I'm very, very honest. So I don't know when this is gonna happen, but hopefully it happens soon. Okay. Um, and so I know how to get there. I made that happen for the past 6 days. For 6 days straight, I was using my strategy and I was getting there. I have the capability of doing that, but I just I just I just lost it. My mind was lost. It complicates it because I'll be so tired. Looks like I'm gonna rest really well for the next 2 weeks. Okay, I'm gonna rest really well for the next 2 weeks because there's no stress. There's no stress, and I suppose it's really trading should not be so stressful. Okay, it should be easy. It should be easy trading. Trading part of it should be easy. Trading is not easy, but trading part of it should be easy because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay? That's how it should be easy. But it hasn't been easy. I keep getting stumbled. I keep tripling over. Okay? But as but I can't be doing that if I'm a world-class athlete in trading. I cannot be doing that. So I lost a incredible amount. Okay, I lost a tremendous amount. Okay, I lost a tremendous amount here. I was at 7% and I just lost it. I was at 7% and then lost. What what logic is there? There's no logic in that. How's there any logic to that? How could anybody put logic into that reasoning? Okay? I was at 7% and the account was blown. I was up 7% after 2 weeks. All I had to do was coast and be patient. All I had to do, all I had to do. But I was like, when I got there, it meant so much. Okay, because because passing the phase one of the 10K account literally means to me is passing the $1 million account. That's what it means, literally, because that's how because it's the same thing, and I put way too much. I just made it far more difficult than what I needed to do. Okay, and so this is the result. And so what I was doing is this. I was counting my money. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna pass this. Phase one is gonna be passed. Phase two is gonna be passed. I'm gonna get a couple payouts. It's inevitable. It is inevitable. It is inevitable. Okay, I'll say it right now. It is inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay, I just keep like breaking towards that by making these stupid mistakes. Okay, I'm making these stupid mistakes by like purposely putting brakes in my thinking because it's mind, body, and strategy. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's trading. That's it to trading. Okay, those are the three things to trading. Okay, so I'm in a momentary suspension at this moment. But what I was doing is like, it's like that movie. It reminds me of this movie. This German movie um, where they're in the mountains and there's a lot of flowers and they're singing. Okay, it's one of those Disney movies, and I'm thinking, um, and it's like the Wizard of Oz as well, on the yellow brick road, and I'm walking on the yellow brick road. Okay, and the only thing that I'm doing while I'm walking on the yellow brick road is picking up uh, daisies. Okay, I'm picking up daisies. Okay, I'm literally just picking up daisies because in my mind I've already achieved something. Okay, in my mind I've already achieved something, and I know it. I've already achieved something and I know it. Okay, and as long as I'm doing these things that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm mindful about my psychology, my mind, and my strategy, I'll get there. Okay, but I was I was too busy thinking about the I was too busy about the accolades and uh, that I am unable to cross the finish line. Crossing the finish line is getting two payouts. I have to get the I have to get those two payouts. Until then, I cannot be like picking up daisies. Okay, I cannot be picking up daisies until I cross that line. Okay, the days I can pick up daisies when I cross that line. Okay, when I cross to the other side, I can start picking up the daisies. Okay, the daisies that are on the other side are pickable, but the daisies while I'm in the race, I cannot pick up because it's not meant to be picked up. Okay, all right. So what I have to be aware, what I have see this video is just for me. I need to. I've already Okay, so I've already confirmed that I know how to trade. Okay, I know how to trade. I just Now it's just like crossing the finish line. All I have to do is cross the finish line now. Okay, all I have to do is cross the finish line. All I have to do is cross the finish line. Okay, so the way that I'm trading, the way that I'm trading now is this. Now, I am confident that I am now capable of making about 1.5% per day. About 1.5% per day. That means the profit target is 8%. That means that so 2 days is 3%. 2 days is 3%. That's 6%. 2 days. So I could literally pass a challenge, 8% challenge, in 1 week, in 5 days. I can do that in 5 days now. Okay, just trading trading, just trading modestly and simplistically, sticking to the trade. Okay, sticking with the plan. Okay, I can do that. I can make that happen. I can make that happen. But what I did was is something I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it. Yeah. Okay. So it seems to be a combination of being tired. Okay, and being tired caused me to just lose it. Okay. So hopefully I'll have enough food for the next 2 weeks to survive. Okay. I should have enough money for like putting gas in, but I won't be able to go anywhere. Okay. And so, um, wow. So what I'll do is I'll buy the 10K. I'll do the 10K. I'll make sure I'm gonna do the 10K and run with it. Okay. And so so this exercise of losing two challenges today is essentially, and I'm not, I wasn't even supposed to trade the Asian market. Okay, I usually don't trade the Asian market. Okay, but today I did. I don't know why. I just did that. There was no reason for me to trade the Asian market today. My plan was not to trade the Asian market, but I did, and it got me. And so literally that done me in. That did me in today. Okay, so um, so I'm looking forward to it. Boy, it's gonna be a tough 2 weeks. I can't wait to get there though. I can't wait. I can't wait to I can't wait to raise my hands. I can't wait to like raise my hand crossing that finish line. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to raise my hand at the finish line. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to raise my hand at the finish line.